Georg Chmiel. Now, I've known Georg for getting on to 30 years now. Georg, how long have we known each other? 30 years?
30 years, maybe, yes.
Yeah, 30 years, going back to when we actually, a bit of history, worked together at McKinsey & Company. I've got it here, don't worry.
Yeah.
Worked together at McKinsey & Company, and then worked together at the REA Group, and have worked together on boards, etc. And what I love about when Georg presents, because I'm going to set a high expectation, okay, is that it's very, very insightful on what's happening in a market and very much based on first-hand experience. So, Georg, over to you. Thank you very much for presenting about platforms, creators, and warriors.
Thank you so much, Simon, and hello, everyone. And I learned from the best. I mean, I was fortunate enough to work with Simon at REA. That was about 20 years ago, and since then, I've only listed my last 20 years because I'm really too old. REA and from them have been across a multitude of companies in proptech and cartech. Currently, I'm in the lower section of this chart. These are all the businesses where I have an active role on 4 boards, and the rest is senior advisory roles. And actually, you can cluster them a bit. There's 3 clusters. So on the one side, you have the compliance, HR, platform, and security area. That's the space to Brio HR. You have on the other side the proptech and wealth management kind of area, which is Juwai IQI, all the way to Centerpoint. And then the last one is the influencer or model segment. And I will talk today about both proptech, but also about influencers. All of them are platforms. And why are platforms so important? 3 reasons, maybe much more than that, but number 1 is they give everyone access to the ability to earn a living from the palm of their hand. So with a platform, you can give everyone an access to something, you make them more productive, and you create also greater transparency, which is what we want. So platforms, creators, and warriors. So who are creators? Now, I'm sure most of you have seen the movie Gladiator. There was a scene in there which Ridley Scott decided to delete because he said people would not believe it. There was a scene in there where a gladiator advertises olive oil. Because in Rome 2,000 years ago, there were influencers, and these gladiators were seen as superstars, as today other people are seen as superstar. Cristiano Ronaldo, who is from Spain, I think, or somewhere, is an amazing footballer with 622 million followers, and a few others. And I mean, even the little people. James Gray is an influencer, has 150 followers, and Scott Holmes, who couldn't be here today, has actually twice as many followers, and he has achieved that by only posting 10% of what James is posting out. So productivity is important. So the whole creator platform market is booming. It's growing rapidly, and that links also into what Jill has said. More than 60% of the brands are actually planning to increase their influencer marketing budget. I will talk about how this works and so on in the future, but Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok are currently the big platforms, and there will be other platforms. Now, it all stems specifically, I'm talking about Xamble now, that in Southeast Asia, people spend far more time online using social media than across the world. And the same is true in terms of how many of them are actually following influencers. And it's quite a high number. That's up to half of the social media followers, for example, in the Philippines, follow an influencer. Now, you might say this is a specific Asian thing, but I say, and I use this slide from a German newspaper, let's focus on the markets where most of the people are. Let's not worry too much about Europe. Let's worry about Asia and Africa, because that's where the future is. And that's where the change will also happening in this field. So Xamble is the company I'm on the board of, is the established leader in Southeast Asia in the creator marketing area. These are some of the clients. Now, one client I want to point out, Masing, is a property developer. That's why I have them up here. But we talk about a bit more about the impact of influencers and creators on the real estate market in a sec. Let's first share a few more data points. It has been proven that the smaller influencers less than 100,000 followers, micro-influencers, or nano-influencers, less than 10,000 followers. So some of us fit perfectly well into this category, are far more effective in creating engagement. So if someone with a platform is able to engage specifically with those, he can do far more than dealing with a mega influencer who probably is a bigger brand than the brand they are representing. Because instead of using one with 1 million followers, why not use 100 with 10,000 followers, and you will be far more effective in the outcome. That's where the name Xamble comes from. It's about assembling communities, bringing together young mothers, people who are foodies, who like to eat, or other things. These are just some examples of the creators or influencers on our platform. All these are specifically focused on certain areas, have a steady followership of 10 to maybe 20 or 50,000, and there's about 20,000 of them at this moment on the platform. And they interact as creators or influencers through the platform with the brands, meaning they get found, they see the engagement and click on it, say, yeah. So it reads on the platform like, if you have more than 5,000 Instagram followers, do you want to promote, let's say, Air Asia? How much can you earn? Up to 500 ringgit. Or with others, you get sometimes even merchandise for free. You know, get cosmetic products for free, diapers for free, or whatever you want. So it's the discovery. Then it's all about the execution of the whole influencer marketing process. And then lastly, also the performance measurement. So we have a few tools how we actually can prove to the brand that certain influencers are more effective. So in the two main features of the platform which were recently launched was these branding communities, where actually the influencers talk among themselves. And the other thing is a Web3-based coupon system where you can actually share coupons, let's say, for other brands, and thereby it becomes traceable how this coupon is being executed, and you can prove to the brand that you have actually engaged in a certain way. And then it wouldn't be a finance presentation or a presentation about a company when there wouldn't be flywheels. Obviously, the more you do, the better it gets. The harder you work, the luckier you get. That's where the flywheels come into play. You become more attractive to brands, and so on and so forth. And there's various case studies. I don't want to bore you with too much detail, whether it's My Little Pony from Hasbro, or whether it's a leading supermarket in Singapore. What we have seen is not only is the engagement much higher using the platform, but also over the last couple of years, there was a significant acceleration of engagement and results. And AI is coming in a multitude of areas. One is making suggestions in terms of how to compile the collateral in a certain tone and so on. So this is a fairly basic use of AI, but more and more also in terms of when you get into the area of live selling, where AI clones of yourself do part of the selling. I've put on the internet a video from China, which is probably the most advanced country in this field, where there's an influencer selling products in a 3-second cycle. Initially, when I saw it, I thought it's probably a joke, but it's really like that. It's super organized, so you see it on our platform. When you click on it, I might even beat Javier Ortiz in the ranking. So what about real estate now? What do the creators have to do with real estate? Now, in Juwai IQI, which I introduced to you last time, we've got warriors. And these warriors are the people who are our agents. Creators or warriors are not new to the industry. About 9 years ago, when I was running iProperty, we bought a business here, Think of Living. And effectively, it was influencer selling. We had 2 people in the business who were introducing developments, walking around, making a few jokes, and really pretending to live in this property. 5 years earlier, while I was running LG Hooker, we educated people not to shoot normal photos when you sell a property, but show more action shots and be a bit more different, and thereby built up the brand of the individual agents. So some of them, if you're from Australia, you know certain agents have a very, very high reputation and are kind of a bit media stars in their suburbs. So in Juwai IQI, We've used the platform to replace traditional real estate offices by effectively lifting everything onto the palm of your hand, onto the mobile phone, and having warriors run this. And we do this across 25 countries now. So the platform does everything from the advertising to ordering merchandise to interaction with the seller, from taking down payments, as well as education of the warriors and more, and also signing of certain contracts where the law of the country allows for digital signatures. And the success in doing this and really driving this platform is quite astounding. So it was effectively a 5% growth since we brought Juwai IQI together. We do about 44,000 transactions. If anybody asks about the rental transactions, we do about 15,000 or 16,000 per year at the moment. And because we like flywheels, we also have flywheels. We've now combined two flywheels, which actually propel itself. And so on the one side, the more you sell, the more you get offered to sell, but then the more you sell, the more data you generate, which then helps you for more add-on services. Most importantly, and I almost clicked over that before, is when people come on the platform, they are up to 41% more productive. And also signing up new agents or warriors has accelerated, but also the cost of doing so has declined. There's a great case study. Once it happened in 2000, there was a group in Malaysia which had about 500 agents at that stage. They had announced he would come on our platform, meaning rebrand and join our platform. Within a few weeks, the number of warriors they had increased to 750 and is now above 5,000. So it's one of the really larger groups now in our Juwai IQI group, and on a standalone basis would be one of the larger ones in Malaysia. I've got a little video here which shows that real estate is also about people. That's from our last conference where I had to leave early last time. That's about 4,000 people in a room. We have the next one in May, and we had to rent an even bigger building. Yes, we are a proptech business, and yes, there are people, and yes, there's no contradiction between the two. Thank you, Simon, for also 15 years. Happy birthday of Property Portal Watch Conference. I would like to thank also everyone who helped in getting this presentation together. James Gray, Esquire, Scott Holmes, who couldn't be here, and also Russell Crowe. Thank you.
Okay, why is Scott not here? Wasn't allowed to come. True story.
Test.
Okay, anyway, amazing
Don't
presentation.
Test me.
Okay, so let's go back and talk a bit more about the impact of AI on all these flywheels and so on.
Yeah.
How is that going to further enhance, the creating of these platforms? How do you see AI really changing?
I think AI is changing everywhere. We have very repetitive tasks and so on and so forth, which are in the area of creation of collateral, either visual or text-based or other things. That's where it's already in place. In both companies, AI is embedded in the platform to generate a description of a property in a certain way, or creation of collateral. For that, AI is being used. I have been experimenting for 9 years with chatbots in this whole field, and yes, they got better, but effectively, you need to really narrow down what they're doing. We have, however, found a way to use chatbot for the last 4 years in Juwai IQI for the agent. So not for the consumer, but for the agent, where the agent says, who of my clients have a birthday today? Or how have I been doing for the last 3 months, like performance-wise? And that actually works pretty well, because it's also in a contained environment, and so nothing can go off track.
In Juwai, how are the agents managed? Do they have physical managers, or is everything done digitally through the platform?
So both is true. So these are not exclusive questions. So they are being managed both in a physical as well as in a virtual way, meaning the training, which is done virtually via the platform, is happening. But yes, there are team leaders and up to country managers who look after the agents and the standard one.
Okay. What happened to your chatbots? Are they intelligent enough? Could they now control their hallucinations?
They got better at it, but there's a great article which about actually the more complex the language model is, the more creative it gets and more carried away sometimes it gets. I would recommend at this stage to use chatbots mainly in cleaning up all the operational inefficiencies because there's a lot to do. I would be a bit more cautious in terms of direct free text conversation with the consumers out there. Also from a liability point of view.
Why more cautious?
Because, just read what happened to Belinda. I don't know. I think she's with Scott Holmes.
Okay.
But so why cautious? Because in some of those businesses, you're actually liable if you give the wrong advice, and you cannot fully control a ChatGPT. ChatGPT is very good in terms of also expressing emotions and all the other things. So all the things of the past, which were always hindrances, were an issue. But they have this fabrication issue. Sometimes they make up information, and that's known. I posted also an article on that specific topic on our platform.
Okay. A question from me. We talked about, if you think about the sale of real estate, especially new developments, you can think about it as people coming to a platform like a portal, etc., off-site marketing through, as we've heard from a few people about, social media, etc., and how that's evolving. How do you think about influencers selling and promoting real estate?
Well, I actually think the boundary, there's not like a complete boundary. I mean, what is an influencer? An influencer has a followership. An agent has a database. So from that perspective, that's already one similarity. I mean, if we limit influencers only to people who in front of a camera do quick sales of certain goods, then obviously it's different. But if we define influencers or creators as people who are interacting with their social media followership, and the social media followership being the replacement of the traditional database, then I think it's coming very close together. Also, for us in Juwai IQI, our number one lead source are social media. It's not the classified portal.
Okay. Let's explore that more. How do you leverage? So you've got Juwai, a front end. Is that, so you have Juwai as the front end, but that's not a major lead source for you?
Juwai is the lead source for the China outbound traffic.
Right.
That's what it is.
And for that segment of traffic, is it the major lead source?
Yes.
Followed by social media?
So for that one it is, but Juwai is also in social media because the portals these days are not just domain names, they are brands. So Juwai is known not just as a portal, but as a brand name for overseas properties for Chinese buyers. And therefore, Juwai has channels in the social medias and is using those for the listings.
Okay. So if we then follow a bit further, you said that the social media is the biggest driver. How do you milk it? How do you physically, internally, do you have a team that worries about social media? And is it taking listings and pushing them out? Is it taking developments and pushing them out? Is it taking agents' brands and pushing it out? What are you promoting?
All of that. And the platform also allows for agents to build their brand and make it shareable. So you build your own agent profile and you can share it on WeChat, you can share it on WhatsApp and other channels like Facebook, etc. Yes, all of it.
Okay. What metrics do you use to track campaign effectiveness?
Sales and rentals.
Just the outcome?
Yes, because anything else is like, is guessing. I mean, what's the point of me saying I have 10 million unique visitors if I don't know how many sales I do?
Okay, very practical of you. What happened to, we've talked about the chatbots, we'll get rid of that question. Yeah. So helping agents become micro-influencers is a good idea. Does Juwai IQI do anything to help the agents brand themselves?
Yes. Okay.
Maybe something similar.
In the platform. It helps the agent brand themselves, gives them the tools to brand themselves, yes.
Now the reference here to what REW does in Canada is for those who weren't in Madrid and didn't see Simon's presentation, wherever Simon's gone in the audience. They actually run a TV show.
Yes.
Okay, and each of the episodes of the TV show is another agent promoting their area, but it's not done as hi, I'm the agent. It's actually done a very slick, high quality production.
It's beautiful.
And you should take like I can't remember what it's called.
Real
tours.
Real tours. She'll show me.
Yeah. So check out Real Tours from REW. It's actually a super innovative way to for your top clients or customers to extract more money from them, to be honest, and B is to get their brand out there, but it's tied to you.
Correct.
In that way. And it's a very, very smart thing that they've done. How have you had agents getting out of control, e.g. becoming real estate influencers and potentially leaving and putting together their own team?
I mean, an influencer is not somebody who is out of control. I hope I made that clear. But I mean, in any industry where you have people, you have, so to speak, bad eggs. And if you have technology allows you to identify them and put them either back in line or remove them.
Okay. It's
very subtle.
I was going to say very subtle, yes.
Yeah, what should I say?
Okay. Yeah. What factors have contributed to the success of Juwai IQI in the ASEAN markets?
In the ASEAN markets, I think it is the platform, because different to, let's say, Australia, where every agent has like an accounting system, every agent has some form of proptech group solution for the CRM and other things. What this platform does is it effectively gives everything into the palm of the hand. Number two is we're not doing a franchise model, we're doing a real model, and that also helped definitely in controlling. When I think back of my LG Hooker time, I spent a lot of time being actually an influencer, trying to influence people to be more successful. So like giving incentives over incentives for agents to sell more, when in fact selling more would have been an incentive enough.
Right, that makes sense. So you basically are the owner and operator of a platform that helps them be mega successful, and by using your platform versus someone else's platform, they're going to be more productive, close more deals, make more money in the process. Okay, makes sense. Real estate deals have great checks. Do you believe social media influencers would become main influencers for decision making?
Isn't that, I hope that's what I tried to convey.
I think that is
a repetitive question. Sorry if I didn't get it.
I should edit my questions faster. Okay, I get what kind of marketing is efficient. Can you compare costs with more traditional channels? 5 years ago, it was around 20 to 30% cheaper. Is it bigger now? How do you compare yourself with traditional marketing channels?
I would say, as I said, because it's a technology platform, there's more volume at a lower cost possible. Whether it's 20 or 30%, I mean, honestly, I couldn't tell you. But like, I mean, if you just use, actually, I could tell you, it's probably more in the more consumer good area of the influencers. So most definitely, because some of those live sales platform are also paying 20 to 40% commission.
Okay. Last question. When will Juwai move into other markets?
We are constantly exploring new markets. The last one was Japan, Korea, and Brunei, and there's more coming.
Okay, excellent. Well done, Georg. I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Okay, and
thanks
fantastic.
for your support.
Okay.
And here's
Thank
the
you.
clicker.
Okay, thank you.